Welcome back to Project Brupeg. Trevor and I are working on this end wall, getting all of the services behind, so the gas, the water and the electric fitted, so that we can sign this wall off and start working on the rest of the galley fit out. Project Brupeg is a Kiwi couple supported by a global community to refit a sunken fishing trawler and turn it into a veggie oil powered expedition and research boat. As well as services in the galley, we started insulating one of the forward cabins while Yasmin was painting the furniture. We're able to start fitting some of the cabinets that Tim built into the new galley, get the air conditioner back on, and between brain injury naps, Jess managed to get an episode out. With our stainless wall panel out, we're able to cart our list of jobs to do around with us, which is quite handy. But we're also going to cut some holes. So we've got a hole there and a hole there to cut. And what those relate to on the window here is one hole just there, and on the other side, I'll spin it right up the top. You can see that hole just there. So if I can get the light to not freak out. That's the argon in and argon out for that window. Originally the plan was to have no holes in this stainless, so it was one smooth piece of metal. But we are going to pop holes in it, and that way we can always top the argon up at a later stage. One thing we do need to do, this thin piece of stainless here, when we cut that, it got heated up and started expanding, so there's a bit of a wobble in that. So what I am going to do, slice it, take a couple of mil out of it, and then just put it on a flat surface, and then very, very gently at a low heat, TIG it back together. So we're going to essentially take some metal out of that joint.
Hi everyone, thanks for all your lovely support and comments about my brain injury. Turns out I'm doing okay. I definitely have some deficit. I had really bad balance I'm in the fourth week for the first 3 weeks, and I've started to retrain my brain, and it's working really well. So I haven't sort of wasted any time. As soon as the inflammation was low enough and there was enough recovery, I was at it. So doing well. Headaches come and go, skull pain still coming and going. I'm a bit sillier. Things that normally I wouldn't really struggle to think about, I'm struggling to think about. It's amazing. I get tired faster. Some sort of more basic thinking processes seem to be affected. Short-term memories definitely affected. What's amazing though is my complex thinking ability seems to be untouched. This is my fourth brain injury in my life, significant brain injury. So that's why there was a bit of a concern. But certainly takes it out of me. At the end of the day, I'm pretty whacked, and at periods through the day I can't think. I have to just stop. I find it hard to talk, and I find all the constant activity and constant demands quite tiring. So I'm pacing myself. But given everything, it's amazing, and I'm even walking straight. So I was having the leans. So that's even improving. If I edit for too long, I get a lot of pain, and I get dizzy again. So it's obviously still causing inflammation. To give you some idea, at the moment we're having 3 volunteers a week, and it's working out around about 2 to 3 visitors a week. So we're incredibly busy with the opening of the boat since COVID. So we're run off our feet and getting everything done as well as my recovery. Thanks for all your lovely comments, guys. And we'll keep you updated, and we're planning no more injuries on board.
Other jobs that we're focusing on is cabling. So we've got our electric run, one going down over here. You can sort of see randomly to that area there. That's going to be a plug. That's just an anything plug, utility type plug. And then we've got another cable that comes down the back here, and that's going to be for the gas hob. It has a little click lighter thing. We're also working on the pipe work. So the that 1-inch pipe there, that's our breather, goes up that channel that you can see in the insulation, and then we can fit the insulation over the top of it. There's another layer of insulation to go over top of that. This leads on to plumbing. So we have to run piping to deliver our water supply from the 2 tanks that are up front and under the deck in Brupeg. They've got to come back to the kitchen. Now the path that they follow, they go through Jess's editing studio over the back here. They come up through the floor from the cofferdam. They go along the wall and basically go right behind the stainless wall that we're about to put in. They come behind the bench here, the main bench, and then they have like a distribution manifold under the bench over here. So I need to build that distribution manifold. I have tried, like you would not believe, to find a distribution manifold in Australia. I've seen them overseas for like heated floors and things like that, where you have a hot or a cold in and then multiple out. But try as I might, I could not find one in Australia. So I'm going to build one, and being Brupeg, we're going to build it out of 316 stainless.
Why does the water manifold weigh 8 kgs?
Well, what if a Cessna hits it?
Yeah. I've found a problem. You did too?
There's a boat in the way.
It's only a small part of the boat.
One of the things we're doing for a wee bit of forethought, this non-smelly, tasty water pipe stuff that you get for boats, that's our main feed line, and it doesn't have a taste to it, but it does go crappy after a couple of years. It's no good and you kind of need to replace it. So we're running a piece of conduit through the wall. That's going to be where our supply pipe is pushed through, and it saves us having to pull the wall apart. When we want to replace this pipe, we just undo it at each end and pull it through, and it's going to feed through that conduit all the way from start to finish. If maintenance is easy to do, like with this conduit, then it gets done. If it's behind walls and cabinets, it never gets changed. While we're building this kitchen, we are trying to be as quiet as we can, because our patient here has conked out.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Okay, well, we only need enough to go through the hole when we put the board in, don't we?
That was very cute.
And we can still pull that through.
Well, we've got to go all the way around to the water manifold.
Yeah, but we can still pull it through once we get the board in.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean, yeah, right. We'll leave it here then.
Yep.
Okay.
With the water pipe in, we now needed to move on to the gas. The gas bottle is located on the roof of the cabin above the kitchen here. So what we need to do is make a bit of clearance in the insulation, and then we're going to start running the insulated gas line. We start off with a small pilot drill, and then we can move on to our mag drill on the outside of the cabin, so we get a nice straight true hole. With the gas pipe now mounted in the top of the cabin, we're able to start fitting the panel back in. This allows us to pull the cables, the water and the gas through the various holes in this panel.
I can always, because I drive through on deep, I can always stop and grab things for you as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I've got Brupeg as well, so I can always grab stuff
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
I think an initiation trip to Bunnings we should bring home 10 sheets of insulation.
And get flying up the side of the road.
Galley's that the way home.
My spider saying, screaming that I'm mad. A big storm blew up. A hurricane right in my coffee cup. Carried me far, far away. And that's why I couldn't make it today. To a coffee shop days. Some X-rated thoughts of what I'd like to do to you. So I guess I can see how bad it rhymes, playing you for a fool. So I pick up the phone, dial your number on the tone to set things straight. Things come up, things go down, make me turn back around. My spider sense screaming that I'm mad.
I've just realised to actually do the final insulation and panels and everything, we have to pull that out.
Yes.
So it's just too big a job right now. Like the deadlines for things just don't add up.
Yeah.
So I think you need to leave doing the finish panel and just focus on getting it insulated so we can be warm and rest.
Yeah.
And then just get on with the rest.
So what
Honestly, I think that's going to add like a week or two.
Fine, so what do you want us to do?
Just what you originally thought, just do the insulation on that bit there, yeah. Do we need to do the wall above?
I think so. I think we do, yeah. Still 90%.
Big storm blew up. A hurricane right in my coffee cup. Carried me far, far away. And that's why I couldn't make it today. Gonna be storm blew up. A hurricane right in my coffee cup. Carried me far, far away. And that's why I couldn't make it today. To our coffee shop, Dave. Our coffee shop, Dave. Our coffee shop, Dave. Our coffee shop, Dave.
Are you okay, Jess? You're not overdoing it?
She's got her earphones in.
Are you okay? You're not overdoing it? Are you okay? You're not overdoing it?
I'll sit down. So, do you want water?
I'm good. I had a bottle when we had
Yeah. After trying to fit the stainless onto the wall where it needs to go, we realised that we were never going to get it on without making a slight adjustment to the corner. So stainless came off the wall, downstairs to the workshop, and then on this very bottom corner we just nicked off a chunk. You're never going to see it, it's behind the bench, but it's going to allow us to slide it straight back in where it needs to go. Perfect, look at that. With that panel fitted, that was the end wall signed off. We're able to start fitting benches. So that means opening up the hatch of doom in the middle of the saloon. We get our chain block to lift this thing. Eventually we want to have some sort of either electric rams or hydraulic rams to lift this, but honestly the amount of times we open it per year, it's kind of not really worth bothering, so we just use this chain block and we've never got around to doing anything different. However, hearing protection is advised. It's bloody noisy.
Hello, my heart beats. Hello again. Between the worries we had planned, I will be fighting to hold the line. We never hiding, we never lying. And I'll be coming home. And you'll be going strong. And I know there is a reason. It's not ready to be home. Yeah, ready to be home. And I'll be coming home. And you'll be going strong, my love. Infinity. And I'll be coming home.
We've had like 4 versions of the galley to try and figure out what works.
But we need like 2 people using, one doing dishes, one preparing, even one cooking, so people need to be able to slide past each other.
With the benches mocked into place, it was time to figure out the overhead storage. We've got a whole bunch of these pre-made, ready to go. They just need to be positioned around the various walls.
Incredible.
They're quite big.
Yeah.
With the cabinets now emptied out of the rooms downstairs, it was time to put the hatch down, put the carpet over and drag the couch back into its position. Our work plan for the morning is, this is our list that we're working down. So what we need to do, Scott and I have marked this hole and this hole here out already. So this is our aircon drain, this is our aircon gas feed as well as power feed. So this is our just a piece of string we're using as our mouse. We don't have the 4-core cable we need right now to run for the electric, so we're just going to run a mouse and that way we can pull the cable through later. We do have what we need to do the gas piping. So Trev has got a piece of pipe here that he's pressure testing in pretty high tech manner. Oh, that's cleaned out, that's great. Yep, structurally clean, lovely. So what these are, this one and this one here, these are extension pieces for our, so they've got a flared fitting with a, if I go right down there you can see flared fitting with a nut, and same thing, this is just a smaller version of that, so it's a, I can't take it off, but that's a nut with a flared fitting down the end of it. They join onto our aircon unit and extend the pipes. This is the back of the aircon unit, so these are the pipes that we're extending. And the reason we need to basically extend these is we can't join a new pipe up here. This is like part of the machine itself, so we have to use this length that they've got here, but it's not long enough. The insulation's there, so yeah. So we've got basically there to there. And I think this does like a loop like that or something, and that goes straight down.
Yeah.
So we do have a reasonable.
But once you put the insulation in these,
yeah. But they won't swell up any more than these though.
no.
Well, actually, why don't we push 2 of them up and see how much room we've got? Without the pipes, we don't need the pipes. We can just feed them from the bottom up, because that'll give us an analogue as to.
Well, we'd be able to shift these once we've got, as long as you haven't put the foam in it. Do you know what I mean? Once you put the foam in, you won't be able to move them that much.
That's true. Well, we could do the foam later. Like, we don't have to do the foam right now. Let's put them up, put the wire, and then on
put
Monday.
This in, let's go.
And then in a couple of days' time, we've got the wire. Put the wire in, and then foam it.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Cool. We jammed up on the angles.
Well, we're not really at the nut yet.
Yeah. Right.
Just about it. Yeah.
Right. So this is the challenge that we have, is basically we've cut our hole, I don't know what it is, 50 mil, something like that, and we can't get this pipe here. It just doesn't have any flex in it whatsoever. The others are fine, they've got a bit more oomph, whereas this one's just way too stiff. So we can't physically get it through the hole and have it sort of curve down and go snugly behind the wall. So what we're going to do, take all of this plastic stuff that we put on yesterday, we'll get rid of that. We'll put another hole saw up here, and then we'll get our saber saw and we'll basically link them so we've got ourselves an oval, and that'll give us enough ability to slide it in. We'll just put more of this all the way around so it's nice and protected, but that'll give us enough ability to slide it in and get the unit in, because at the moment there's still a little bit of a gap between the unit and the wall that we haven't quite closed up. A trick that I quite like using when I'm drilling stainless, because it's non-magnetic, I can't use a magnet to pick up all of the swarf, so I use duct tape, basically 100-mile-an-hour tape, and I make little barriers and I try and have the sticky side as open as possible. You can sort of see I'm taping it to stay away from the wall, and I'll make a little barrier out of this stuff, and that way all the swarf ends up just getting stuck to the tape. You can clean it up afterwards, very little mess.
That sort of worked.
Yep. And then when you pull it all off like this, you can just roll up the swarf inside the tape, doesn't go anywhere, and you're left with pretty much a perfectly clean surface. With the 2 holes cut in the wall, we just link them up with a grinder, just really gently down the side. You can sort of see just touching the top there and then making our way down to the bottom hole. With these 2 sides cut out, we end up with a nice oval that we can then start sliding the pipes down. Go and put some corrugated conduit onto this edge that we've just cut right the way around, and that means we've got a nice soft edge for anything to touch, and it's not going to chafe it. In the land down under, it is actually illegal to do your own AC, air conditioning. So we do all of the fit up, we run the lines and basically do all of the grunt work, and then we get a guy down the road who's a qualified refrigeration dude. He comes in and does the final electrical fit up as well as the regassing and make sure everything's good to go. This is what we've been working on, right? So we've got these are the bottom of the extensions on that AC run, and then we've got them inside the plastic pipes. We're going to push foam basically up there, so we're going to use the same technique we did to fill the stainless tube. These are the two pipes, the copper pipes inside this stainless tube that this foam has come out of. We're going to use that expanding foam. You can see there's a copper pipe here with a plastic pipe around it, and a copper pipe here with a plastic pipe, so they're completely separate from each other. And we will essentially fill these with foam, so no atmosphere whatsoever gets near these pipes. Now, these will sit back like so, and this pipe and this pipe need to connect to that pipe and that pipe. So we're going to bring them down. They'll do a drip run, not that there'll be any drips because it'll be encapsulated, but they'll come down with a drip run and come back up and mate onto these. And this excess down here allows us to adjust things up and down. So if we stuff the flare up, we've still got plenty of excess, so there's no issues there. So our next job is essentially mark these pipes and join them.
Looks alright?
Looks alright to me so far.
Gee, yours is going to be a bugger to do up.
So you took the easy one.
That'll be so much easier. Wait.
Nothing succeeds like success. Have a look at that, friend. Oh, that's screwed in.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
Magical.
I like success.
Do you want to call Yasmin to come and have a snack?
Yeah, she's just finishing off the last bit of paint. I've already told her.
She wants to go sailing, and she's talking about tomorrow. What do you think?
The following morning, we've got another load of sand in. We're starting to dry another batch so that we can get all of our sandblasting on the stabilisers done before we launch. These are going to be the next job that we tackle. If you're wondering where we get our unending optimism on Brupeg, let me introduce Jess. 6 years ago she bought a trawler, and then her health went mental. She got over that when many people said she wouldn't. So this brain injury, she's got this.
I wish myself for a while.
Thanks, maybe the colour.